Hello, beautiful humans, if you identify as human. I don't. Anyway, I am here with you all today because it is a full moon. It is a super full moon, which means you might be feeling the energetic components of what it's bringing forth, which might be the feelings of anxiety, which might be the feelings of discomfort. You might have had physical symptoms like being not able to sleep, having headaches, belly aches. There's seemingly a lot being transmuted with this full moon. And I wanted to bring forth a video because I connected with a few friends today and other feminine who identify with being on the sacred path of union, who woke up with intense feelings as well. For me, mine manifested as anxiety, mostly in the back of my heart chakra. I felt like there's just like a lion breathing on the back of my neck, a ravenous animal about to not only eat me, but also ruin my social standing because it's so high. Anyway, here we are, and I am always open to hearing what it is that you are feeling, sensing, that sort of deal. We're in this together, and I think that's an important reminder. Now, what is this moon bringing up? Well, my intuitive sense of it is we're clearing more karma, we're clearing more seedy stuff, and we're doing that more so at the cellular level. So while the 5D is moving in, it's pushing these lower frequencies out because the job that we are all in right now is infusing our soul perspective in our human body so that how we enact on the earth and how we live our lives is from the truth of soul. It is with that knowing. It's so that we don't have to not necessarily use our brain, but it's just that we're basically clearing the need to know and research and digest in the way that we have previously learned, through the repetition of how we learn in school, through being told what things are versus connecting with our inner knowing. Because when you connect to these higher realms, you can know everything. Now, it was funny when I was a kid, I felt very in tune with my gifts then. And my mom was like, "You were so annoying as a kid because you knew everything. You were always like, I know, I know, I know." And I really think that I did. There was so much remembering and being connected into the soul purpose. And I know that there's been multiple times in my life when I'll look at someone and I'll have an intuitive hit. But for me to share my intuitive hit, not grounded in the things that we know about the human world. An example was a friend whose eyes looked very jaundicey. And I was like, something's going on with your kidneys. And I don't really retain or know anything about medical things, but I just had this clear thing. And had he not gone to the doctor, he probably would have died because his kidneys were just shutting down. And maybe that's a known fact. I did grow up in a medical household. Maybe it got trickled in somewhere in there, and I just like accessed a deep part of my inner knowing from walking around as a human. But I also think that our souls and our larger 5D perspective, the more we tune into that, the more we have access to greater knowledge. Now, does that mean you should tune into your soul to, do an appendicitis on someone? Absolutely not. We've got doctors who are souls that are trained as doctors and have practiced that in the human form. Does that mean you can't do psychic surgery and work on a person and send them good vibes? The fact that you can tune into the diagnosis means you can tune into the cure. So, recognize what your part is on that and where you have your healing uh, component. The other piece I wanted to bring through also ties to this. So, I know for myself, I've been going through an astrology program and I'm learning a lot about my own chart and subsequently other people's charts through understanding more of my own journey. And there's a lot of text that comes with this program. And I read through the text, I listen to the text, I read through the text, I listen to the text. And it's not necessarily in one ear and out the other ear. It's just like it lives in here. So I'm not gestating it per the traditional process of learning. How I'm learning it is through the lens of my soul. And how I've been describing that is I'm learning to listen with the soul. And it's a very I would describe the process almost like listening through the soul's ears is like a whoa, 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 whoa. Because the way sound is moving through, you're tuning into the vibration of the words coming forward in that, and that's what then unlocks. Now, a lot of you know I also post alchemical poems that are healings encoded. They are activations, they are prayers. They're also a part of my own process, and I post these poems with the intention that they activate and inspire, uh, as is in the divineness, the highest good for everyone who receives them. So I don't have control over how somebody receives them or how it triggers them or how it inspires their healing and growth process or what it stirs up from. The intention is that the words are activation. Now, this brings me back to the fact that we need to be mindful of our words and the and more so even the intention behind our words. So there is a if I tell somebody you're being unkind, there is an activation for them in those words, right? That can stir something up. Now, my intention in saying that isn't like you're a bad person, right? It's just saying they're being unkind. Their actions are creating things, and it's something for them to look at. In that, I'm also sharing my experience, and the intention behind it is to create a more loving relationship that flows between two people. So, the invitation, I guess, of this message today is that everyone who's listening take some time today to be with the stories you tell and why you're telling them. I believe that stories are alchemy, and while they can impact our energy field, it's really the intention in which we tell them that impacts us the most. So, same with music. You know, if you're listening to a song and the words are like F this, fuck that, everything about. I love that I said F this and then I swore. Um, we don't know what the first F stood for. It could be something worse. Anyway, but the sounds, the lyrics, the vibrations that we bring into our consciousness impact us. They unlock stuff with us. So be mindful of what world you're giving your energy to and how you're giving your energy to it. You know, on a subconscious level, we might not understand the story of the words, or we might be tuning into a different part of that vibration. The most important thing is what is the most active vibration and how are you giving your energy to that? So I think that with this full moon is a great time to really be present with ourselves, the stories we tell ourselves, the stories we tell each other, so that we can continue to resolve karma and not create more. And it feels to me that this moon is bringing this really powerful clearing, and it feels like this is still going to go on for the next couple months, but that things are getting better. They are getting easier. We are aligning with more collective and community consciousness, and we're still in an integration time in which we're seeing some of the old still come in and fall away. But we are being more mindful of it. We're making different choices around the old. Yippee! So that was a huge confirmation. Spirit says, yes, we are taking down the old world and putting up the new. So let's let the light in. Many blessings to you all. Aho.